Ditched and Stranded on Shrooms. Here's the deal. First off, I'd like to welcome anyone who's a first time to my channel. Thank you to anyone coming back, and a special shout out to all my former juvenile delinquents. We're still here. We beat the odds. Okay? So, anyways, I'm just going to get right into it. This happened at, once again, a time that I was between 15 and 16 years old. And I remember this because I could not smoke. I know, that's becoming a common theme. Probably no one's getting it because they're not watching my fucking videos like that, but whatever. If you are, then cool, you know. So, this took place with someone who's been in a couple of my stories as a person that I've called Boy, okay? If you're unfamiliar, he was the person that almost got me evicted. He was one of those people that got sent away to a different state because he was kind of fucking up so bad, okay? So, that's Boy, alright? He's gonna play a vital role in this. So, one evening, we're, trying to think of something to do. Like, we can't really, it seemed like back in the day there was always something to do. But sometimes, you're just trying to figure out what to do, whatever. So, we came upon the idea of, yo, like, we all know, like, if you're a local around my area, you know that there used to be a place, rest in peace to this place at the Redondo Beach Pier, called the Fun Factory. If you know about it and you got to experience it, then shout out to you, because I was there literally on accident when it was getting like crushed with like machinery and stuff, and it was just like I really wish I hadn't came that day, because that place was real special to me, and like for many different reasons. But anyways, they had this arcade down there that, like, literally it's an arcade. They got, like, it's like a carnival slash arcade. Like, there's little video games, there's carnival games, there's like bumper cars, there's like a roller coaster. There was not obviously not a huge one because this is on the pier, you have to remember, but still there was a lot of stuff inside of this place. So we decided, hey, you know what, let's both eat an eighth of shrooms and go play some video games. That sounds like fun, right? Down at the Fun Factory, down by the pier, the ocean. I always loved being by the pier and the ocean and everything, like ending up in Redondo. Not something that I ever planned on. So before that, like, it wasn't just a thing that I could just like go down to the beach or whatever. So like, yeah, I wanted to like take advantage of that or whatever, It's like, I don't think it needs further explaining than that. So he's like, yeah, man, that sounds dope. I'm down. Okay. And remember, Boy had the car. He was the one with a vehicle. Okay. So, like, that was, well, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, he was also like a homie. Like, it's not someone, I would not say I used him for his car, or like, I'm not that type of a person anyways. But like he was like an actual homie. Like, we would chill. Like, he would come over to my house. I'd go over to his house. I knew like his parents and stuff. Like, so it wasn't as just like just this guy or whatever, or just because he had a car. Like, like, we were actually like friends. Like, okay. So the problem with that is that some of my other friends, that, remember, this guy is a couple years older, right? And I've always gotten along really well with older people, even from a very young age, like elementary school. I had fifth graders coming to ask me to play basketball with them when I'm in like second, third grade. Like, it's just always been like that. So he would not be cool with people that I hung out with that were maybe my age, or like maybe somebody a year younger or whatever, like Eric. Like, I can actually remember a time that he had came to pick me up, but he refused to pick up my homie Max that was in the car, or not in the car, that he was with me. So when Boy came to pick me up, and it was literally like, he like opened the door and was like, get in, but he's like telling Max, like, no, I'm not letting you in and all this shit. So I'm like standing there like not knowing what to do and whatever, and you know, like I kind of had things I needed to do and whatnot, whatever. So I get in the car and we drive for like 3 seconds, and all of a sudden you hear this back, and that fool Max threw a fucking rock at the back of his car, and it only like barely dented. I think it hit like literally the license plate, like it didn't even hit the car or window or anything like that at all. But I just remember that very specifically. Okay, so that can give you a little insight to boy. That's nothing but something. Okay, so anyways, we're like, yeah, dude, let's do it. You know, so we get the shrooms, we eat the shrooms, and you know, it takes like, you know, I don't know, I guess it's different for different people, but I would guess like an hour would be probably a safe bet to say for a lot of people of when that starts to kind of like kick in, maybe not fully like peak, but you know, kick in. So we're like chilling and kind of like, you know, you're like in those situations, you're almost like you're kind of like anticipating like the come up, even though like you'll know when you're tripping. You'll know. Like you don't have to like be like, am I? I don't know. Am I? Like you'll know. like trust me. When you look at your phone and it looks like alien symbols and shit, yeah, you don't gotta wonder. Okay, so like we're starting to like come up, you know, and we're like, all right, it's time. Let's go. And it was like 8 o'clock at night, something like that. Like the time had happened where the sun had gone down. So we go, and the way that it works going down to our pier is, if you've been to Torrance, you know this, but if not, you know, it's a big loop at the bottom. It's one street that goes all the way down to this area of the beach. Like the bus goes there, everything, but it's an area where you can go underneath into a parking garage, or it's like a giant horseshoe that you can literally go down this street and you can just go in a circle at the bottom and then come back up the same street. Just like it's just like doing a U-turn, but that's how the street is shaped for you. Okay, that will be important, trust me. So we're like, you know, starting to like feel something and everything, and we're like, all right, let's go, you know. And like that's a very short drive, especially from, no matter where we were at, it's less than like a 20-minute drive. It's definitely closer than that. So we're getting closer, and we're getting closer, and we're getting closer, and finally we get to the part right before this like roundabout, and like there's a sign and it says the Redondo Beach Pier and everything, and like there's a little like veterans park or whatever, place where people get married and all this shit. And we're waiting at the light, you know, and like I know about like I'm just kind of expecting and kind of like hoping to have a good time. And as the light turns green and we start going down the street, and we start going down, and the street like goes down, like as it can either go like super down into underneath the parking structure, or it just still goes down, but then it like does the roundabout around the part where you could go underneath it. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but so as we're going down the hill, he misses the turn, and I'm like I don't say anything at first, and he like continues to drive, because there's like other ways, like I don't know, I thought, you know, maybe he spaced out, whatever, you know, I don't know. I always give people the benefit of the doubt until they give me a reason not to, which definitely has screwed me over many times, but whatever. So he makes this loop, and he's literally going the same exact way that we just came. He just did the U-turn, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, we had to plan, like you know, like we're already like kind of like knee deep in this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he goes, I'll never forget this line: I want to go home and hang out with my mom. Yeah, yeah. You know, some people want to go and see lights and crazy shit and whatever. Some people want to go have fun and maybe play some video games at a place with lots of bright lights and cool things and whatever. And some people want to go hang out with their fucking mom. tripping balls on mushrooms. I don't understand it. I don't fucking get it, but whatever. That's what happened. So he is like hell bent on going home as soon as possible, and he's just like, where can I take you? And like, I don't want to go home because I'm fucking tripping balls on shrooms. Like, I'm not one of those people that, oh, I'll go hang out with my mom too. Fuck no, I'm not doing that. Like, so I'm like, I'm tripping on shrooms. This was only like maybe like the couple of like maybe the handfulest of times taking it, maybe the third time or some shit. I'm very not like the pro mushroom guy or anything. You know, I don't have anything against them. It's just something I'm not like never got super into. But on that day I was down. So he's like telling me like, all right, well, you got to figure out a place that I could take you because I'm going home. I'm going home to my mom. And I'm just like, God damn, you're so fucking lame, dude. And like, so I'm like scrambling. I'm trying to use my phone. My phone is looking like it's in fucking Egyptian hieroglyphs. Like, I can't even fucking make sense of like how to like, and not only that, my brain is like caught in this like slumber of not understanding like press the number to call the phone. Like, it's just a shroom thing. If you've done shrooms, you understand. I just like couldn't make the connection of dialing a number and calling it and talking to someone, or even just pressing their contact and calling it. Like, I was just in the ethosphere or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay, so I end up getting a hold of a girl that I had actually known since the 8th grade. She actually had gotten kicked out and sent to my middle school, and it was a weed related offense. So of course she fit right in to my middle school, and she just became one of like, she was like a homie, like literally like just one of those people that like you hear about, like a girl that's like one of the homies. Like, that's how it was, like straight up. So she, like, you know, had her own life and her own everything going on, whatever. And, you know, she had her friends that, like, at this time, I had just started going to Redondo. So, like, and I had just, like, moved to Redondo. So I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of ideas of where to go, who to call, especially not in the mindset that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So I get a hold of this girl, and I'll name her. Her name's Tina. Okay, so I get a hold of Tina, and I'm like, yo, what's good? And she's like, tells me that she's at this girl's house who's actually lives like, I lived like 2 blocks away from her, and then she lived like 2 blocks away from this other girl's house that was like the house that all the girls would go to. That it was kind of one of those anything goes kind of like households where, you know, there was like, you know, maybe like a parent giving their kid pills or something. I don't know. I don't want to throw any accusations out there or anything, but it was just one of those environments that just anything went, and there was a lot of people that would stop by there and hang out there, including a lot of very attractive women. Very, very attractive women. Especially for the time. I know this is a long time ago, but still, like, women that at that time I would have not been surprised if they ended up becoming like models or something like that. Like, no lie. And I'm not trying to say that I'm some pimp ass guy. Like, I have a story here about throwing up on a girl's face that made the mistake of trying to dance with me. Okay, so trust me, I'm not Big Daddy Smooth or whatever the fuck at all, you know. So like, she tells me like I can come by. Like, she's like, yeah, come on through, you know, like, it's nothing. Because like I said, it's one of those households where it's just, you know, whatever. So I show up, and I have no idea. I know that Tina is there, and she's someone that I've known at that point for a couple of years, so I was comfortable with her. And she had introduced me to people from time to time from Redondo and stuff that like I had met and whatever, that like just on happenstance. And so like, but I just was more comfortable with her, considering that like we had like went to middle school like together and had like hung out and had the same. Her best friend was my girlfriend for like a cool minute and stuff. And same girl that I got caught having. This is the girl that told me probably nobody's seen the story that I have on here from forever ago of how I got expelled from school for having sex. This girl Tina was the girl that said, "Don't go anywhere. I'm going to the bathroom real quick." And me and my girl were like, "Okay." And then she went in the bathroom and we fucking took off, and then the story went from there. That was this same girl, okay? So she's like, "Yeah, come by." I think I explained to her what was going on, and she was like, "Yeah, it's cool, come by." So I get over there and I walk in the door, and literally there's like 10 girls there that are like very, very, like I said, a lot of attractive girls would like be over there. And it was just like, it happened to be a night that there was just a very big variety of these girls that, like, a year ago or whatever, I've never been big on like chasing girls or whatever, but like I'm sure they would never give me the time of day if I tried or whatever. So I never did. I cared more about what was inside their pocketbooks, to be honest with you. Take it how you will, whatever. They're shallow, I could be shallow too. Fuck it. So I never, like, I wasn't tripping like, oh no, like I wanted to like try to like get with one of these girls and like I'm like tripping out. Nah, it wasn't like that at all. It's just that if you've ever been on any type of a hallucinogen or something like psychedelic, it's always helpful to have someone with you that is kind of like on your same level, like how me and my homie would have been, and everything would have been straight, because it's kind of this thing where you can have like a telepathic conversation where you can like look over at somebody and he can just go, "Yeah, I know," and you're just like, "Yeah, I know," and it's fucking weird. I can't explain it, like, people, but I guarantee you there's at least one person who watches this will know what I'm talking about if they're still watching 17 minutes in, which doesn't happen much with my videos, but I'll wrap it up. So I'm at this house and I walk in the door and I'm the only one. I'm fucking tripping balls. I think this is the first time I actually ate a full eighth. Normally I'd eat just like a half eighth, or like, it was normally a half eighth or like 2 grams, but this time I literally ate 4 grams, like a 4 gram eighth. So it's twice as much as I'm used to. So I come in and this house was all white on the inside. So like, if you've ever been like in the snow or like places that are really white, like it kind of can like fuck with your eyes, and that was kind of like happening to me. So it was just like a weird situation where, like, these girls are coming up to me and like they're talking to me, and I'm like trying to like, keep my cool and whatever, and my eyeballs, I have blue eyes. It's probably hard to see in with the darkness, whatever, but my eyes are like crystal clear blue. So when I take something like that and my pupils are like fucking silver dollars, like there's no hiding it. Like it's just, I definitely have had times where I'm like, fuck, I wish I had like brown eyes or like black eyes or something, because it's a dead giveaway. But I was so fucked up all the time. I didn't know if my eyes were supposed to be big or small, like if that was normal or not, because of how like often they were fucking saucers. So I'm in this girl's house and I'm trying to keep my cool, but I'm fucking losing it. Like it's much like easier said than done with all these girls that are like kind of asking me questions and like, "Hey, what's up, blah blah blah." Like I kind of walked in the door and was like, it's not like they all flocked over to me and were like, "Ah," but it was just like I came in and like was like saying hi to people. The girl's dad, whose house it was there. I remember that for another reason that I'll get into. So like, I'm feeling weird. I immediately go into the backyard and I start just chain smoking cigarettes. Like, and like that's like the only thing that my mind told me to do, was like, this is how I'm gonna get through this. I don't know. This is just what I'm gonna have to do. So I'm just smoking, and like someone came out there and we had a conversation about something, whatever, and I go inside and the dad, this place had a pool table in the house, like just in like the living room, just the middle of the living room, and the ground was like marble. It's not carpet or wood or anything. It was straight up like some kind of stone or something, like limestone. I don't know, but it was something that, like, if you dropped a glass bottle, it'd break. Let's put it that way. Okay. So the guy asks me if I want to play pool. And he doesn't know shit about what's going on with me. Like, he doesn't know. Everyone else kind of knows. Like, it's kind of spread through, like, you know, one person to the other, whatever. But, or maybe he did know and he just wanted to fuck with me. I really don't know. But he asked me if I wanted to play pool. And I'm, like, feeling weird that if I say, like, I'm in this guy's house, you know, he doesn't know who I am. Like, I'm just randomly showing up. So I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I didn't want to be weird. It was just like a really weird crossroads to be at. So eventually I'm like, sure, because like I could play pool. Like I'm pretty good at pool. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So I figured, you know, shit, like I could probably do this, you know. So I'll never forget this. He racks them up and he tells me that I'm gonna bust, and I'm like, no homo. Pause. Whatever the fuck kids say. But I'm going to be breaking, okay? So he sets the balls up in their triangle shape with the thing, pulls it off, and I take the cue ball and I set it down on the table, and I set it down. I'm trying to get that little red part of the cue ball so that I can line it up with my shot. But like, you have to remember, like, I'm like seeing, like, my hands are like on the table. I'm seeing like 8 fingers on one hand and shit. Like, it's like, it was very, very fucking weird. Okay. So I'm like trying to like it must have took me like, I guarantee you it took me at least a minute of going like practice, you know. Sometimes someone will go 1, 2, 3. Like, I did that shit like fucking Giannis at the free throw line before they started timing him, of just and then like 45 seconds later fucking do it, you know. So I finally go and I try, like, I want to do a good break. Like, you can just, if there's something about having a good break playing pool, that it can make you feel good, or maybe the person can be like, you're playing can be like, oh shit, they actually know what they're doing or whatever. And if you break shitty, it can go the other way where they're like, well, this is going to be easy money. So I wanted to have a good break, right? So I take the cue and I'm about to break, and I'm trying to put everything I got into it. And I shoot pool left-handed. I don't know why. I'm right-handed, but I throw a frisbee and I shoot pool with my left hand. Don't know why. So I'm like going to shoot, and I go hard, and I go too much down. Thank God I did not scrape the felt, but I did where I hit the ball underneath the ball, so the ball immediately took flight and fucking flew across the room. And remember, the ground is not carpet. It's not just gonna roll and stop. So it's just back, 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 bouncing around the whole fucking house. And the whole time, everybody, I like look up, everybody is looking at me. Every single person in the house is looking at me, and especially the dad. He's looking at me, and he's starting to, I think, figure out that there's something going on with me or whatnot, because he's looking at me different than everybody else. But everybody else is just staring at me, and I'm just like, and then I was like, I gotta go. And then like I was like, fuck it, I'll figure something out, whatever. And I ended up going home and leaving, and I just stayed in my room and wrote it out in my room, and that was the way that I had to deal with that. And like, fortunately, I was able to spend a good couple of hours there, even though, like, you know, a shroom trip lasts a while, you know. But I kind of got through a very intense portion of it while being out and like doing that whole story. So by the time that I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go home, like, kind of like the worst of it had already passed. So I kind of knew that it was going to be smooth sailing from there. So anyways, that's the story of how I got ditched and stranded on shrooms. So there you go. Laugh at my misery. Throw me a sub. Come on, man. It's free. Just click the button. It's around here somewhere, whatever. Like, come on.